Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about a major winter storm with some blizzard-like conditions and some extreme winds. We're also going to be talking about an Arctic blast that's going to be entering the picture by the end of next week. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family on social media. So let's get started. Here is the latest current hazards map. And we've been dealing with these just relentless winds, these extreme winds that's come across the west. And now it's entering the central part of the U.S. We got high wind warnings and watches for a good chunk of the central U.S. extending all the way down into Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, into Nebraska. And then we also have got those winter storm watches and warnings for parts of Iowa into Minnesota and the Dakotas. And then we still have blizzard conditions where they've been dealing with these blizzard-like conditions for the last 24 hours into 36 hours where it's just the wind on top of the snow. I mean, a lot of these cases, it's not just the amount of snow to depict a blizzard. It's basically 3 hours of continuous 35-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-mile visibility. So it really doesn't have anything to do with the actual amount of snow. It's just a combination of the wind that's actually taken place, because there wasn't really much snowfall that took place in the Dakotas and Montana, but whatever fell, just maybe an inch or two, was just creating like a ground blizzard across that area, and it was just sending some whiteout conditions at times. And there's been numerous reports of 18-wheelers just toppling all over. So it's just been very difficult to drive. So if you were taking north of I-35 today, man, it would be a bumpy ride to say the least, as you would be dealing with these cross-flow winds as you go northward. But let me take you a look at what's actually going to happen over the next week. So here's the upper level. So this storm system is going to be diving down into the Ohio Valley. It's going to be dumping some more snow for later on today into places like Chicago, getting into Illinois, parts of Indiana. And this is actually going to swing northeast as we continue throughout the day. So this little impulse will impact northern portions of the Northeast, getting into New England, and then rain on the south side near the coast. But we also have a backside event to this system where it's going to be kind of a 1-2 punch and kind of a leftover effect. You can see the little blue line here where it kind of dips down and draws in some of that colder air on the backside. So we're going to have some residual leftover snow going to be going over portions again into the Ohio Valley, and that will extend further east. And then by the time we get into Wednesday, so this will kind of set the stage for next week's storm. We see a developing trough all the way down into the Baja of California, and that will just eject into the southern plains, and that will dump a pretty good rain event for Texas, probably like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. At the same time, we've got this other developing trough into the northwest, and that's going to be kind of setting the stage for what they call a cross polar flow setup. So you can see the kind of blue line where they traverse from west to east as these kind of a training effect, more or less. Now, we've been talking about the polar vortex. Where's the polar vortex, right? And so we had a split we had a stratospheric warming event up in the Arctic about the first week of January. It was very cold in Asia. That colder air is now over Europe, and then eventually it'll go into Western Canada. And by the time we get into the end of next week, it should start filtering down into the northwest part of the U.S. And so we'll get into that here in a little bit. By the time Friday rolls around, you can see by the 22nd, we can see the first signs of some of these pulses of colder air trying to intrude into the United States. It's going to be subtle. It's not just a wham all the way down at once. It's going to be subtle. So by the time the 22nd rolls around, we've got a developing trough, and we start to enter in, colder air into the picture, especially over the Northeast where we have a developing trough starting to set up, and these anomalies will start to go below average for this time of year. So let's take a look at under the hood and look at the overall surface map of what's actually happening right now, and then we'll take you into what's going to be happening a week from now. So now we've got these snow showers taking place, and this extended all the way down to Missouri and even on the borderline of Arkansas. So you guys and Springfield, Kansas, Kansas City into St. Louis, you've seen snow today, and you will continue to see a little bit of snow as a 1 to 3 inch will be kind of across the board for you guys in that area. And this will kind of extend into Illinois, into portions of Indiana. You can see rain into the south side. So it's mainly, this is an interior event on the coastal regions. I'm thinking it's going to be all rain. But yeah, on the backside, we're still going to be dealing with those relentless heavy winds, at least for several more hours and into tonight, where these knots are upwards of 60 knots still. So we've been dealing with it all day, and I think this will continue into this evening, where we got those 50 and 60 mile per hour gusts still taking effect as this the extreme winds tend to die down as this low will continue to move off to the northeast. And as it continues to move off to the northeast, it'll bring it on the backside. It'll bring some leftover snow showers into the Ohio Valley. But you can see we're in the northeast, where the predominant snow event is going to be taking place is on the north side. So north, New England, by the coast, by the higher elevations, and into southeastern Canada. But then a coastal rain event on the south side. And if we extend the view into Sunday afternoon, it's kind of implying the same thing. A lot of the snow is going to be into the interior regions of the Northeast and then southeastern parts of Canada, where you're going to be seeing probably some double-digit snowfall totals are not out of the question in those areas, and you can see some leftover effect filtering back into the Ohio Valley. And if we take a look at by Wednesday, you can see this developing storm that's going to be taking place off the Baja California. This is a very deep trough. It's going to be deep, pulling in some deep moisture content. And a lot of these ensemble members are kind of hinting at some of these record, what they call fat values, the water precipitation available in the atmosphere. So we could be seeing a heavier rain event, especially on if you live DFW east, so like East Texas, going into Arkansas, get into Missouri. I do expect a little bit of a heavier rain event setting the stage, say between the 19th and the 21st, as this trough really starts to dig deep and eject into the southern plains. And you can see we're starting to see a little bit of signs of some of the colder air trying to enter the picture from Western Canada. But you can see what's going to fall with all liquid between now, Friday, and Wednesday morning. You can see the northwest flow is still pretty active. We've got this rain event on the south side where we have this developing low pressure off the northeast, predominantly along the coast. This is going to be a rain event, so maybe 1 or 2 inches along the coast. A lot of this is going to be in the form of snow, but on the back side, we have those residual effect that's going to fall into the Ohio Valley. And if we take a look at the snow, what's going to be left of the snow, a lot of these areas have already picked up a lot of snow in these regions, and these are the kind of a leftover effect from our major winter storm that's going to be taking place. And then a good swath of still 2 to 4 inches is not out of the question in places like Michigan, where the storm really hasn't hit technically yet. We're still going to be picking up those 4 to 6 inches, and in the Northeast, it hasn't hit yet as of yet either. And that's along the interior portions. Yeah, you look at these totals, anywhere places up to a foot in spots. So, and along the coast, nothing. So there's going to be a quick, demarcation line of basically nothing. It'll just kind of be an all rain event, and where it's going to be able to tap into some of that colder air, it'll transfer to all snow in a quick way and dumping those heavier snowfall totals in a short amount of time. And so as we kind of extend the view and kind of look at some of these, colder temperatures starting to enter the picture, let me let me take my picture off here so you can actually see this. So here's the 20th. Here's Wednesday the 20th, and here's a picture of the northwest. Okay, you can see, you know, pretty above anomalies. It's been very warm in California. I think it hit 84 yesterday in Los Angeles. I think there were even parts of 90 degrees in California. So no question, it's been well above average. All right. And so as this cold air starts to intrude into the picture, this is on the 20th, and here's by the 22nd. This will be obviously next Friday, a week away, but we can start to see the initial signs of some colder air trying to enter the picture. I know the teleconnections go negative by then, and so it starts to have that kind of a push from that colder air starting to filter in and crossing the border, going into the U.S. And you can see some of these anomalies up in Canada are starting to push, you know, 20 degrees up below average. So these are Canadian temperatures. So 20 degrees below average in January, that's some cold stuff, okay? And that's what's going to be entering the picture by the time the 22nd rolls around. By the 25th, you can see a lot of that cold air is starting to really enter the picture, and so these anomalies now drop to 10, 15, 20, upwards to 25 to 30 degrees below average temperatures. So that's some pretty cold stuff, and these are actual temperatures. So anything in these kind of the greenish areas, those are like 10 degrees below zero. So we've definitely got some colder air that's going to be entering the picture by the end of next week. We just have to wait until that gets mixed into the pattern, and that's probably going to set the stage for a pretty good snow setup by the end of January, and that'll be a long ways off. But we do have some colder air that's going to start entering the picture by the end of next week, so about the 25th, and you can see some of these wind chill that are going to be feeling what it feels like to your skin. All these areas, you know, in the green are 10 degrees below zero. So a good chunk of the Northwest is going to be below zero as far as like feels like temperatures. And as we start creeping into Montana, getting portions of Canada, yeah, we're upwards to 30 degrees below zero as far as wind chill factor. So definitely some Arctic air is within sight, and it's going to start filtering into the picture by the end of January as we get into the later half of next week. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.